we didn't discuss that much about partition styles, guys. Okay, we'll discuss. First one is, yeah, we will go to discuss that one only first. Okay, then I will discuss about a boot processing. Right. Okay. System configuration, we'll discuss separately. Okay. The first point before I go to the boot processing, okay, the first thing is about this, what we can say, what is MBR and GPT partition style. Okay, so we'll see that one once. Guys, you have a hard disk. Just I need a Windows system. Yeah, I don't want to touch this system now, so okay. I'll go for another system which is better system like this. The system is okay now. Okay, so here I have a hard disk. I have a hard disk. If this hard disk is MBR type of disk, MBR master boot record partition style. If it is initialized as a MBR partition style disk. So what happened in the disk? There is a 0th track of a hard disk. So hard disk actually it is platter type means, okay. So what is this? It's the very first one, very first of initial track of a hard disk contains this MBR record. It contains MBR record. What is MBR record contains? Record means it's information, means it is a kind of some table is there inside. What is this contains? Information about the partitions. So from which sector to which sector partition is created. It means what is the partition, what is the partition number, partition type, size, okay. Partition type means is it a primary partition, is it a secondary partition, like that. Is this partition contains OS or a bootloader, bootable files are in this partition. Is this partition contains operating system, like that. That information is available in MBR record. Okay, MBR record in the hard disk that contains information about your hard disk. Hard disk or SSD, water about a partition information like a type of partition is a primary partition or extended partition or a logical partition, OS content partition, okay. Bootloader, bootable files location partition is that partition contain bootable files. That entire information is located in MBR record only. I've opened my command prompt with a run as a administrator. You can see BCD edit. So this is the actual information in your MBR record or GPT records. You can see. So where is okay bootloader information? Where is the bootloader in a partition C and operating system is Windows 10? Location of the bootloader kind of stuff it is also bootloader, boot manager, bootloader information. Where is the location of bootloader and and boot manager information in this command, you can able to get it. Okay, so that information also stores inside your MBR record. Okay, so we have a hard disk, and the hard disk is type of partition style is MBR. So what will happen? So I'm going to the disk mgmt.msc. This is my virtual machine, guys. In this virtual machine, so I can able to do this virtual machine. Main purpose of virtual machine to do some small coding related projects like a small Java, HTML. I need some WAR files to build for my projects, Marvin related projects like that. One second. Hello. Stay. Okay. Okay, so why it is separately I have created from my actual machine, because in my machine I am running lot of different processes, and when I require, then only I need that application to access separate some. It has to be run on some Tomcat servers. So those are all I cannot create in this machine, because sometimes certain services will run background. So unnecessarily it is occupying my space. If I do some mistakes, that may affect on my physical machine also, right? If I do some mistakes while I'm doing here, it may affect on my physical machine. So what I have done, I separated and I created in another virtual machine. If I do something here and if I do something mistake here, no problem, it stays in this virtual machine only. Okay, I want to run my applications. I want to do some practice on my application. I want to test certain applications. Okay, I do in a separate virtual machine. So that is the main benefit of virtualization. Okay, guys, I have a hard disk here. You can see in this virtual machine also, this is having a hard disk itself, and hard disk is there. Become slow down. Okay, now it is okay. You run it. So this is my hard disk. If I right click on this hard disk, you can see convert into MBR, that to gray color. So what happened here? This partition is a GPT partition. Just in case, just I want to create a virtual hard disk to show you about a MBR record. So I'm going to dynamically expanding VHDX and go to the GB. So I'm creating some 100 GB hard disk for you inside my virtual machine, just for a practice purpose. Okay. I want to create in my E drive. Okay, disk name is like a 100 GB disk. Okay. So guys, if you look at, can you able to see this? Can you see able to see this disk?
Yes, sir.
If you see this side, if this see this side, it is showing not initialize. It is showing not initialize. What is not initialize? First of all, you have to initialize the disk as either MBR type or a GPT type. Why this is not working? Okay, no problem. We have this one. Full screen snip starts. So what I'm doing is, why my both systems are making me very low speed kind of stuff. I don't mind. Not initialize. So right click, can you see initialize the disk? It is showing initialize the disk. So I click on the initialize disk. So you have to initialize it as MBR or GPT. If I initialize the disk 1 as MBR, master boot record partition style, what happened? Click OK. So it is now MBR type of disk. You can see it is converted to GPT means it is MBR disk. So what happened with the MBR disk? Yeah, here it is the same screenshot. If disk type is MBR type disk, MBR partition style, you can create 4 primary partitions or 3 primary partitions and remaining is become extended partition. Inside this extended partition, you can create a multiple logical drives. Okay. So here it is. This is MBR type of disk. I'm going to create a partition. Right click, simple partition. Next, I'm creating a some 20 GB 20480. Okay, 20 GB disk I'm creating. The first one is I created and it's a 20 GB disk. It is showing primary partitions. Guys, in a olden days, like in a XP time, so what happened? You can create 4 primary partitions. Once 4 primary partitions completed, the remaining space, if in case any remaining space is there, for example, you take 500 GB hard disk, you take this one is 100, 50, 50, and 50, for example. It's a 250 only now. Okay, remaining 250, you cannot do anything. Okay, and maybe you take like 100, 100, 100, and 100, 400 party there. Remaining 100, you cannot able to use it. So what you have to do? You have to adjust it within the 4 correctly. So this is like a 200, or maybe this is 150, 150. Okay, or 150, 150, 100, or 200, 200, 100, like that you can able to adjust within the 3 or 4 primary partition wise only. That is, we have a chance to do it once we are completed primary. So what happened? Well, that next is, so otherwise, what you can able to do it, create only 3 primary partitions, and the this remaining partition is become extended partition. This entire remaining is extended partition. 3 primaries completed, then remaining partition you make it as a one extended partition. Then in this extended partition, you can create more number of logical drives. You can create more number of logical drives. More number of logical drives, you can able to create it. Okay. So 3 primaries, one extended. In an extended, you can create a logical drives. At the time of XP, you have a choice to do like that. Either you create 4 primary, or you can create 3 primary and one primary. You have a choice earlier, so you can choose it. But from Windows Vista 7 onwards, once you are completed 3 primaries, then fourth one you are trying to create, that automatically become extended and your new partition is become logical partition. Okay. So first I created already one primary. So then I will create one more partition that is automatically a primary. I will create one more partition that is also one more primary. When I created a fourth one, it is a logical drive inside the extended partition. Okay. So that we will see. So here it is second partition I'm going to create, that is like a some 10 GB partition I'm creating. Okay. So this is 20. This is also primary partition. This is another 10 GB I'm creating, 10240 I'm creating. So 3 primaries complete. You can see when I'm creating, it's not asking, do you want to create a primary or extended? Nothing is asking, because from Windows Vista 7 onwards, when you create a partition, automatically it is the first 3 are automatically a primary partitions. The second one I'm going to create again, that is some 10 GB. The fourth one, we'll see, it's not asking which one you want to primary or extended, but it is see the entire remaining partition. Now it is showing entirely. You can see this entire partitions. It is entire this part is extended partition, and my 10 GB is logical drive. If I create one more, so like I can create more number of logical drives inside this extended only. If I want to delete entire extended, first I have to delete all the logical drives. See, I am going to create one more. It is also a logical drive. It means 3 primaries, multiple logical drives you can able to create in the MBR record, in MBR partition type. See all these things, 20 GB, 10 GB, 10 GB, 10 GB, 10 GB. I created all this disk partition. Okay guys, that is MBR. Partition style is MBR means you can create 3 primary and remaining is become one extended. There is no 2 extended, so only one extended for the disk. And in the extended, you can create multiple number of logical drives. Okay. So maximum partition size is 2 terabytes. Up to 2 terabytes, you can create it. And this hard disk contains an MBR record, which contains information about the partitions information, and there is a where is a bootloader information, bootable files, OS related files information located in the MBR record. Mainly bootable bootloader information is located. Another partition style is GPT. In GPT, so when we are creating the partition, once 3 primary partitions completed, remaining is extended, and we are creating logical in the MBR. But in GPT is not like that. You can create 128 primary partitions. You can create 128 primary partitions. Okay. So it's not like that. There's not a specific like a 3 primaries, 4 primaries. Is now 128 primary partitions. No logical, no extended kind of stuff is there. But simply 128 primary partitions you can create it, and each partition you can create with more than 2 terabytes of size and 18 EB. You can up to 18 EB partition style you can able to create. In same way, guys, MBR or GPT. So when if it is MBR style, MBR record in the hard disk will tell about your partitions information. In GPT style, okay, the hard disk will tell the hard disk contains GPT record and the record contains information about your partitions, storage means bootloader informations, bootable files locations in the bootloader file. Okay, so that is about MBR and GPT. And here, and guys, understand the difference between MBR and GPT. Understand primary, extended, logical partitions. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Correct. For this days, I initialize the disk as MBR or GPT, right? I initialize the disk as MBR or GPT. So I initialize this disk one as MBR. And this disk is GPT by default. How this disk is GPT by default? I didn't initialize this one. I initialized this one only. But this is already GPT. How this disk is becomes a GPT? Because of this machine advance UEFI framework I'm using. Instead of BIOS, I'm using UEFI. Okay. So because of this UEFI, the disk style is automatically become GPT. But there is a conditions you can see. So here it is. When a fresh or new disk drive connected to system asks for initialization as MBR type or a GPT type. That is, I connected a new fresh hard disk here and it is asking, do you want to initialize as a MBR type or a GPT type? So then you initialize as a MBR type, right? Next one is when we install OS in a fresh system, when I am installing this operating system Windows 10 in this machine, okay, so first it will check the OS, motherboards, frameworks, okay. If your firmware is BIOS, the disk will initialize as MBR. Your firmware is BIOS. Your firmware is BIOS. So then the disk is initialized automatically when you are installing OS. When you are installing OS, your firmware type is BIOS. The disk type is MBR. The firmware type is UEFI and you installing a newer version of operating system like Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10, Windows 11. Okay. And your firmware type is UEFI. Then it is initialized as a GPT. Okay. That's why this is by default, it is GPT. Why? Because of the firmware I choose UEFI. Okay. The almost all our latest laptops and desktops comes with a UEFI firmware. Okay. And we are also using an operating system either Windows 10 or Windows 11 only. So obviously it is our hard disk is GPT type only. Okay. You can go to the disk management. Okay. Go to disk mgmt.msc. Then open the disk management. Check it. Right click on the your disk name and see convert into MBR means your disk is GPT disk. Convert into GPT means the disk is MBR disk. Other places also you can check it using a PowerShell commands also you can check it. Okay. And normal commands also you can select a disk management related commands also. So your motherboard UEFI firmware, if you are using a firmware, UEFI OS is latest, which is UEFI supported OSs. If you are installing, the disk is initialized as a GPT. Okay. So this is about MBR and GPT, guys. MBR and GPTs are partition styles. Okay, so if you choose MBR partition style, then it is you can create 3 primaries and remaining space as one extended, and within the extended you can create multiple logical drives, and maximum partition support is 2 terabytes. Okay, and if you choose GPT and the 128 primary partitions we can create, no extended, no logical drives here, and it support more than 2 terabytes of partition size, as well as it is up to 18 EB as per certain textbooks. Okay, either it is MBR or GPT, it is the record stores inside your disk. If it is MBR style, MBR record, GPT style, GPT record stores in the hard disk, which contains information about partitions and operating system. If operating system is there in the disk, that operating system, bootable files information, bootloader information, and OS location, like bootloader information. Okay, bootable files or boot drive information, bootloader information is available inside your MBR record or GPT record. Okay, so if you are inserting a new fresh hard disk, you can initialize them as a MBR or a GPT. But when you are installing an operating system into the fresh system, means the disk does not contain any MBR GPT type. It's a fresh system. We are going to install OS inside. Okay. And system itself initialize the disk as MBR type or GPT type, depends upon what firmware you are using. If you are using BIOS firmware, then it is MBR type. If you are using GPT firmware, it initializes as a if you are using UEFI firmware, and it is initialized as a GPT. But OS must be support for that one, because if you are using latest OS, UEFI support is there. Older OSs does not know what is GPT or UEFI. Okay, so these are the MBR and GPT information. Any questions?
No, sir.